Hey everybody, Mr. Klein here. I'm going to explain to you how to use Google Sheets in order to get normal probabilities. There's three situations that we're going to run into. You can see them right here. Take a look. First one is the left tail, so something that has a less than for your alternative hypothesis, or a right tail, which you'll be finding when you have a greater than for your alternative hypothesis, or possibly a two tail, which you'll be doing when you have a not equal to for your alternative hypothesis. Now, before I show you how to do this, I'm going to point out that if you do equal sign and then you type in norm, you get a whole bunch of different formulas. And so there's actually multiple ways that this can be done. The one that I've picked out for you is this one right here, norm.s.dist. And the nice thing about this is that there's only one value that you have to enter into the function, which I think makes it a lot simpler. Make sure that you don't get it mixed up with this one, norm.s.inv. We don't want that. Okay, so norm.s.dist. The first situation is when you have a less than. Now let's suppose we want the probability that a z-score is negative 1.5 or less. Well, all we have to do then is type in norm.s.dist and then put in the number. So in this case, negative 1.5. Make sure that you include the negative, you'll get the wrong answer otherwise. And so there's our probability. It's 0.0068. If you would like that as a percentage, it is as simple as coming up here to your little percenting button and hitting enter. Okay. So that's pretty easy. Let's come on down here. The right tail is a different story. So let's suppose that we wanted 1.5 or above. Let me show you that it doesn't work if we just type in norm.s.dist and then 1.5. If we do that, we get a number here. And you'll notice that that number is very, very large. What it's doing is giving us the area below. We want the area above, which means that we need to come back and start by doing 1 minus the area below, just like we've been practicing, since back in December. Okay. So there we go. I'm going to change that to a percentage just for kicks. That's how you do a right tail. So what have we seen so far? Left tail, you just put in the z-score. Right tail, you do 1 minus the function at that z-score. Now the two tail, it kind of depends. So let's start here. Let's suppose that we have a z that is negative. So let's suppose that we just did a problem and the z-score that popped out looked like this. It was a negative 1.5. What we would do is we would type in the norm.s.dist at negative 1.5, and that would give us this lower tail. And since we know that the upper tail has the same value, what we have to do is in the front of the function, multiply it by 2. Now, one thing that we've talked about before, but it bears repeating, is that anytime you're using a function in Google Sheets, you need to keep in mind that you have to use the multiplication sign. Unlike when we're writing math and we just write things like 2x, here in Google Sheets, you have to do 2 multiplication x. Okay. So that'll give you your value. Now, let's suppose that I'm going to change that into a percent. Okay, there we go. Now let's suppose we got a different situation and we had the z-score up here, the 1.5. It's tempting to think that we could just do 2 times and then norm.s.dist of the 1.5, right? But look what happens when we do that. We get this number, or in other words, there is a 186% chance that that happens. That doesn't make any sense, right? Here's what we just did. We just took the area below this value, which is more than half of the curve, and doubled it. So how do we fix that? I'm going to turn you off. Oh, I guess I can't. Never mind. Well, here's what you do. What you really wanted was 1 minus the norm dist of 1.5, because that would give you the tail up here, and then you can multiply that by 2. Okay, and that will give you your answer. Notice that this and this give us the same value as we would expect. I think that's it.